Hi math students, these are example problems from your homework, so you can have some answers free from your teacher. This is Math 8, Chapter 1. These are all taken from the study guide and review at the end of the chapter. These are going to be for lessons 1-4 through 1-7. The first problem is from 1-4. This is number 28. It's found on page 77 of your book. This one is talking about temperature. So Vostok, Antarctica may be the coldest place on Earth with an average low temperature of negative 89.6 degrees Fahrenheit. If the average high temperature is 63.9 degrees higher than the average low, find the average high temperature. So I'm going to start with a number line. Okay, I'm going to make my number line a vertical number line because most thermometers are vertical. So on my number line, I of course need 0, and then we're also going to put the average low. This is the negative 89.6 degrees. Now it tells us that the average high is 63 higher than the average low. So if I go 63.9 degrees higher than that, so if I go back up that thermometer, 63.9, my math operation is going to look like this. Negative 89.6 plus 63.9. So I'm going to add that temperature on. Now if you notice, these two signs are different. This one's a negative number, this one's a positive number. When the signs are different, we need to find the difference between those 2 points. So the difference between 89.6 and 63.9, notice I lined up the decimal points. So we can't take 16 minus 9, so I have to borrow. So I can take 16 minus 9, which is 7, 8 minus 3, which is 5, and 8 minus 6, which is 2. Now remember, this is the difference between these two numbers, 25.7. So that means I've gone up to the 25.7, but this is still below the 0. Okay, so we have our 0. Our 0 is right here. Our high temperature for this place in Antarctica is still here in the negatives. Okay, it didn't go up over the 0, so we're still here in those negatives. Okay, so this is still a negative temperature. There we go. The next one is number 31, and this is out of section 1.5 on page 76. At an elevation of negative 52 feet, Lake Erie is the lowest point in Australia. How much lower than Lake Eyre is the Valdez Peninsula in South America, which has an elevation of negative 131. So again, I'm going to start with my number line. Okay, a vertical number line. So we've got Lake Eyre here at negative 52. We have the Valdez Peninsula down here at negative 131. And of course, 0 is somewhere way up there. So they're asking in this one, how much lower is this? So we want to know, what is this distance in between? Okay, so if we're looking for the distance in between those 2 points, it's the same as saying we're looking for the difference. So the difference is negative 131 minus negative 52. We want to know the difference between these 2 points. Okay. When we subtract, you could also look at the difference between these 2 points. We're going to get the same answer both ways because we're going to look at this distance. Yes, it's going down. Yes, it's going down this number line. So we're going to consider this distance between them a positive. So you can subtract either way, the 131 minus the 52 or the 52 minus the 131. So when we do it this way, we're going to change this to plus a positive because with subtraction, we always change this to add the opposite, and the opposite of negative 52 was positive 52. When we do this, again, we have a negative number and a positive number. So we're going to write 131 minus 52. I want to find the difference between those two. Here again, we can't take 1 minus 2, so we make that 11. 11 minus 2 gives us 9. Here we have 12 minus 5, which is 7. So this distance in between those two elevations is 79 feet. And because it's a distance, we're going to leave that as a positive. We're looking for the distance between those two elevations. So they have a difference of 79 degrees. Or 79 feet. If you consider this a negative 79, that would be fine too, because it is a drop of 79 feet. Our next one is number 34, and this one comes from page 77, multiplying integers. So multiplying integers, when we have a negative times a negative times a negative, we've got 3 negatives here. You can consider this taking 2 at a time. So if I take the first 2, negative 15 times negative 4, that makes a positive 60. Okay, then I'm going to take that positive 60 times negative 1. When the signs are different, and you are multiplying or dividing, if they are different signs, that means it's always a negative. If they have the same sign, the answer is always positive. That's only true when you are multiplying or dividing. Okay, so when you're multiplying and dividing, if you have different signs, it's negative. If you have the same sign, it's positive. Just like this one, we had the same sign with the negative 15 and the negative 4. That gave us a positive 60. But when we have a positive 60 and a negative 1, we get negative 60. Okay, so multiplying and dividing works that way. And our last example comes from 1-7. This is dealing with writing some equations. So page 77, this is number 40. Lauren uses a copier to reduce the length of an image so that it's 1/4 of its original size. Given L, the length of the image, write an equation to find the length N of the new image. So we have N is the new image, L, that's the original image. So L is the given image length. So that was the original. Okay, so she wants to make this new image 1/4 the size of the original. So 1/4 of the original. So we're going to take 1/4 times the original. Well, since the original was L, we're going to replace the original word with an L. So we're going to find 1/4 times L. What does that equal? That equals our new image. The new image equals 1/4 of is multiplication of the original length. Okay, there's a few different ways you can write this. You can write it as 1/4 times L. You can write it as N equals L fraction bar, because L times 1 equals L. Or you could even write this as N equals L divided by 4. All of those answers would work for an equation for this. Any questions, ask your teacher for explanation on any of these problems. Thanks.